All right, here we go. Welcome to I guess episode 1
Yeah.
of the rebrand, right?
Yeah, I guess we can start it as episode one. It's a completely different style, name, everything. So,
So if you notice, we are now Bar Banter instead of Liberty Sports. I mean, there's nothing better than Bar Banter, right? And in fact, so I did a little thing. So here we go. Bar Banter refers to the casual, playful, and often humorous conversation that takes place in a bar setting.
okay. Yeah.
I mean, this is what we're doing, right?
Right. Exactly.
It's typically lighthearted, informal, sometimes flirtatious and teasing.
I don't know if we're going to get any of that going
Yeah,
on.
uh, involves quick back and forth exchanges
Uh-huh.
amongst friends, acquaintances, and even strangers.
Okay.
I've said very for a long time, that you sit down at a bar, the banter that you have at a bar,
Yes.
that could solve all the world's problems. I mean, believe me, there's plenty of problems going on in the world and everything else. And you just sit down at the bar and just banter.
Yeah. What's that old song? God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy. All
It's
about a bar banter, and he
yes,
left his fortune to a guy he barely knew.
that's right. That's right. So I mean that's kind of where we're at. So this is the Bar Banter podcast episode 1
Mm-hmm.
of the rebrand. And you know, I like the logo, like the feel of it, like the concept of it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about what we did here with the change? Do you like it? Does it make sense? Let us know. I mean, you should be following all the socials anyway,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
I
We
mean, if
make
you're
it easy.
not, then like, what's wrong with you?
Right. We make it easy for you to follow them too. Links, QR codes, they're all over the place. It's effortless,
Yep.
right?
Effortless.
Effortless.
We do like removing effort from things.
This is true.
So that would be less of effort. But so here's the first thing we want to get into when we
Mhm.
talk about the bar banter.
Yeah.
Um the Busch Light Apple
Yeah.
back for a limited time. Actually, it was a blink of an eye, right? Like the Bapple, the Blapple, whatever people are calling it.
I mean, I
What do
think
the
I
kids
think
call it?
I think Bapple is a you're right. It's what the new kids are calling
It's
it now.
the
The kids
kids
that weren't even around for it when it was first
that ruin everything.
that ruined it all,
Yeah,
right? And the reason that us who enjoyed it the first time around couldn't get our hands on it this time around because they
yeah.
wanted to be part of the Bapple trend.
I found two 12 packs.
But
Two 12 packs.
we called it BLA.
Yeah, it was the
It was the
BLA.
BLA.
Yeah.
And then you had all these kids that are seeing it on TikTok and wanting to be part of a trend and fit in and do all this stupid stuff now. And they're like, oh, I got to get me my Bapple. Like, first of all, you were 12 when it was out last. So let's calm down with that.
So yeah, so it came out. It was re-released early. I mean, this spring, I guess. What, a couple months ago?
Yeah. It felt like a week ago and now it's already.
You couldn't get it. You couldn't find it anywhere. Then when you did find it, it was gone.
Mhm.
And then now it's been said that that I think that they've already stopped production on it.
Yeah, I
So
saw that post too. It said that they stopped production. So whatever is out and whatever is being shipped is what's left of it.
and that's it. So it's kind of a silly thing that they're doing that. Should the BLA be a year-round constant for the Busch Light brand?
I believe so. Yeah, they're trying the whole peach and the lime. Now lime, they're
The-
bringing out a lime now.
The peach sucked.
See, I never got my hands on the peach.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, or tried.
No,
I never
it's-
really
it's-
tried to get my hands on the peach. A couple of my buddies said there was, it's aight. It's aight, The Busch Light Apple is just light years ahead of any flavored beer you can think.
because
And,
it still tastes like beer. The
Correct.
other ones, you taste the fake flavor that's put into it.
Yeah.
which is annoying. And so the Busch Light lime. Everybody talked about the Labatt lime, the
I
Bud
never
Light
had
lime.
the Labatt lime. I did have the Bud Light lime though. Not bad.
Yeah, it's no. The BLA is the one.
Oh
where
no,
it's at.
for sure, absolutely. I'm just saying, like out of the other ones that I've tried, it's
What about like didn't Corona? I mean, you put a lime in
put
a
a lime in
Corona.
a Corona, but a Corona. Like,
You know why you do that?
I don't.
So the reason why you put the lime in was because back in the day, in the pirate days, with the Captain Jack Sparrow, you would get diseases, and so the lime, the citrus in there would cut the disease, so it wouldn't upset your tummy.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So does that mean you're foreshadowing your next character change now that we're rebranded? You're going to move on from cowboy and become a pirate now?
No, I'm a cowboy. I can ride a horse.
We still got that to come.
I can ride a horse.
But no, yeah, the BLA is a good time. I think it should be year round. And then of course you got your people that are like, oh, well, Angry Orchard. Well, no, because that's a cider.
See, it's not a beer.
It's not a beer.
That's not a beer.
And people are like, just drink an Angry Orchard.
No.
Well, first of all, that's too sweet. Like if I wanted that, I would like to just go eat a package of Skittles.
And there's no carbonation in the Angry Orchard.
Not really. No, it's very subtle.
Is it even there at all?
It is.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever noticed the carbonation.
Well,
I
when
like
was the
the
last
carbonation.
time you drank an Angry Orchard? That's
Actually, a couple weeks ago.
on purpose.
Yeah, because that's what they had.
Oh well.
It was actually when I was down in Orlando, the time before to help you move.
I don't remember you drinking an Angry Orchard.
It was at the Cheddar's, and I drank an Angry Orchard. I
oh,
wasn't with
when you were there with your work thing. Yeah.
No. Yeah. So. Okay, so that's the biggest thing. See how the lighthearted banterness is happening? It's lighthearted, it's fun, it's humorous. It's a relaxed tone. This is all part of the rebranding.
It is, yeah. And even if you've noticed too, like with our logo and with if you're obviously you're watching this on YouTube, but if you go to our YouTube channel and look at the header is even nice and calm and relaxed. It's a nice cursive script beer banter with the Instagram and TikTok next to it. It's fantastic. I you know what? I kind of did my thing a little bit. I'll toot my own horn with the designs there.
Yeah.
Just want to let everybody know I kind of ate and left no crumbs on that one.
Relaxed tone, often with a bit of sarcasm and irony. Social bonding. This is what happens. Social bonding happens in the beer banter space. It's a way for people to connect at a low stakes environment.
Yeah. In fact, we actually had. You want to know, guys? Do you guys really want to know what got us to do beer banter? We were sitting at a restaurant. Was it the 145 bar here in Toledo?
145 bar. 145 bar.
And we were trying to come up with names and logos and whatnot. And we tossed around bar banter a little bit. And, he orders his wings, and the guy next to him goes, "Hey, are the wings good here?" He goes, "Yeah, they're not bad." And then they start talking.
And I said they were a 7.3.
Yeah.
They were a 7.3. They were okay. And I turned to Jake and I said, that's banter.
Yeah. And then
That's banter.
the guy ordered the wings for himself.
He did.
The bartender even got in the mix. Oh, he convinced you to get the wings, huh? And then
It was playful.
Yeah. It was
In
playful.
a relaxed environment.
It was relaxed. It was playful.
Social bonding.
And
It was
right
taking
after
all the
that-
boxes.
Yeah. Right after that moment, we thought, you know what? That right there is an example, which happens for us quite often because we like to dabble in going to bars and getting some chicken wangs.
Yeah, and doing a little banter. I'll even just give you a little. So that was a good example of the bar banter. But I even have one that came from the interwebs.
Oh, okay. Look at you knowing how to use the internet.
It's unbelievable what happens here. So person A says to person B.
Oh God! Well, you could have made like fun names for it.
No, this is person A and person B.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter what your name is at the bar, unless it's Norm, R.I.P. So is this where all the bad decisions are made? And person B replies, only the really fun ones. That's banter. That's what the interwebs thinks banter is.
Yes.
Spontaneous. Not
Yeah.
deep conversations. Just spontaneous. Fun.
Yeah.
Poor decisions can be made.
Poor decisions. That's a good one. There's a bar in Tampa called Poor Judgment.
Poor judgment, yeah.
That was a good time. And actually, okay, before we transition, I got to tell the story.
Yeah, you have to.
I have to tell the story. Okay, so it was my, 24th birthday, yeah? Or was it not a birthday? No.
I don't know what the story is you're telling, so I don't
Okay,
have a
so-
reference.
All right. So we're down in Tampa. This is when we went to the Rays game.
Oh, okay.
And when we got into Tampa, obviously before the game, we had to go, get some wings and a couple beers at a bar right by the stadium. And what was that bar called?
I don't know, but it connected to you. There was a pathway that you had to
Yeah.
walk through a jungle and fight off alligators and
this is Florida.
anacondas.
But there was literally a tunnel from the bar to Tropicana, RIP, to Tropicana Field, and connected to the bar you'd walk through, whatever. So anyway, we're hanging out, We go to the game. Game's fun. I think the Rays won. Yeah, the Rays
they
won.
did.
They
They
won.
absolutely
they beat the Marlins.
did. It was a great game.
Yeah, it was a fantastic game. We got to meet our
We had
guy
a lot
Kevin.
of food. Oh, Kevin.
Kevin was great.
Brother.
Yeah, we'll talk more about Kevin too. Actually, we've got an interview with him that we did at the stadium.
Did an interview
so
with him.
stay
Had
tuned
to.
on
It's unbelievable.
the TikTok. We're going to be posting that soon.
It's a good one.
But yeah, so we get back after the game, and it was a cool kind of system. It was a little busy, so you kind of sit down, scan the QR code. You can order your drinks from your phone. So we order our high noons. Dude comes walking up. Eric got a couple high noons. We're like, yeah, boom, and he brings us like 3 or 4, whatever. They're getting ready to close. It's like at this point probably like 11 o'clock. It was an earlier game. It was like a 7 o'clock game, and it flew. It was a fast game, by the way.
It did. It flew by. It flew by.
So we leave that bar, and we're like, let's see what downtown St. Petersburg's all about.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about a minute there before you jump into downtown St. Pete. We talk about bar banter and meeting people. There was 2 brothers that were there that were hanging out, and then we ended up hanging out with them all night long.
Right,
because they were like, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Because we were watching the Phillies and Yankees game, and we were cheering for the Phillies because Bryce Harper, and what his one of the brothers was a Yankee fan.
Right. And then the other brother
cheering,
was really cheering for the Phillies. He was like, yeah, because I hate my brother. So, he's a Yankee fan. So I want them to lose.
That's right. So that was the first example of banter.
Yeah. And it was awesome. We had a great time.
Yeah.
They're I don't know. I have no idea what their names were. We'll never see them again. But hey, if you guys are watching, let us know.
Come on the show.
Yeah. Let's do it.
But yeah, so we had a great time with those kids. We head to St. Pete. We walk into a bar, and we're just kind of sitting there. The Olympics were going on too at the time, so we're sitting there just watching the karate part of the Olympics, jiu-jitsu, just watching it, getting after it. Great time. Next thing we know, our server from the other bar comes walking in. And we're like, oh, dudes, what's up? You were just our server.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like,
I remember that.
Like, oh, yeah, dude's like, what's up? So we start, talking with him a little bit. And again, just bantering, whatever. Long story short, that's how we ended up at the bar, Poor Judgment, in Tampa. He's like, this is your guys' first time here? He's like, all right, I'm going to show you around. Impromptu tour of St. Petersburg. And I'm going to tell you something about this guy.
He was awesome.
He was fantastic, but I'm going to tell you, you need to be able to keep up.
Oh, yeah.
Because he moves fast.
So fast.
And if you're not ready, when he's ready, it can get bad. But we ended up at the Poor Judgment they had that book, like over 200 or 300 different shots.
That's right. And
whatever.
Yeah, and so then we had to keep doing shots because he was like, okay, and this is my turn to pick the shots, and it was your turn to pick the shots, and it was my turn to pick the shots.
And then he ran into like 6 of his friends.
That he knew.
And then it was like 2 birthdays, so they all had to pick shots. And we weren't allowed to not be involved because we were his best friend.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
we knew everybody by the end of the night. It was unbelievable.
We kind of ran St. Petersburg by the end of the night. It's kind of what happened there.
It almost turned into St. Schwartzburg.
It did.
Is that what it was? No. Listen, St. Jakeburg. Yeah. Anyway, it was. Listen, this is what the bar banter is all about.
That's what the bar banter is. This is the stories that continue. And we made a promise to him because he had to open the next day.
He did have to open the next day.
And he goes, "You guys gonna come see me for brunch?" We go, "Absolutely."
Yeah, we'll be there.
0 chance we made it.
I couldn't move. Well, I'm not a shots guy.
You're not, no, and these weren't like just like a
drink
shot
beer.
of Jack, or like shot of tequila.
Old fashioned. maybe every once in a while when I'm getting saucy. I do like a little bit of whiskey or bourbon.
Yeah, but that's not what these were.
But that's it. No, this was
These were like strawberry
Sugar
shortcake unicorn
everywhere.
fluff is like what was the name of the
Yeah.
shot. It had like whipped cream and sprinkles and like a
Yeah.
lollipop in it.
So every single time it was his turn to order the shots, he would pick the goofiest name so that I would have to go up to the bar and say what the name of the shot was. Like, I'll have a pink fluffy unicorn.
That's exactly it.
It was unbelievable. It was amazing, though. It was good stuff.
Great time, yeah.
Yeah. So, one of the other things that you do in the bar banter is you talk about sports. And so what happened today was it was announced that you got your boy A-Rod. Ron is going to the Steel City.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb.
Pittsburgh. So Steelers have signed Ron to a 1-year deal. And, the funny thing about this is, I think that Ron still has a little bit left in him. I think he can make some good plays. The thing is as long as he's not blaming, Mercury being in retrograde,
That's what I'm saying,
causing pick sixes and
Yeah.
all kinds of other stuff like that. He's trying to get the whole team to go on a journey into a sweatbox in a cave or whatever.
to bring him into a cave and do
It's-
ashwagandha and
And I will tell you what, though, the most amazing thing is all of that's going to be real good with Mike Tomlin's no excuses, just execute mentality.
Yeah.
Like, I think nothing can go wrong with this. Nothing. And I will say the other part of it that's amazing is that week 1, they play against the Justin Fields-led New York Jets.
I love it.
Which doesn't really do much to dispel the whole NFL scripting conspiracy.
No, it really does not help.
I mean, right off the bat, this is what we're doing, and then we've got Steelers Packers on a Sunday night, week 8, something like this.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
it is. And you know what? It'll be really interesting to see though, because the Jets and Fields can't lose that game.
No, they can't.
They can't lose that game.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like that you can't lose that game. Now, obviously, I wanted Will Howard to start because I wanted Will Howard to Justin Field.
So here's the thing about that, though. Let's parse this out a little bit. So you bring in the Ron, and you got him there for the 1-year deal, right? So but you drafted Will Howard, who, like, Pat McAfee was on board with it and everything else too. Like, I mean, why is nobody talking about this guy? He just wins. He's got the arm strength. He's mobile, athletic. Won a national championship. Why is nobody talking about this guy? So what do? You put him on a team that is notoriously, like, we're not really quarterback, the quarterback whispering team, right? Like, so, I mean, Big Ben, but, Terry Bradshaw back in the 70s, but neither one of those guys were, God's gift to quarterbacks, right? They just won with grit and everything else, and part of what that city's all about, right? So you got a guy like Will Howard that kind of buys into it. You bring in, fancy pants Ron, with all of his sage and everything else in the locker room. But the thing is, what's going to happen is you allow that mentoring year for Will Howard to happen, kind of like what happened to the Ron when he sat under the Brett Favre.
True, that is true. However, I just hate to say it just because I hate Aaron Rodgers. Like, I don't want Will Howard to learn.
I don't know why you hate Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I guess as obnoxious of a guy he is, he does have time to league. So Will Howard could learn a thing or two about the NFL from him. But I just, like, go away. Just go away.
It's easy.
Like, you're just, like, hanging around. You're like a little gnat. Like, they swatting you away.
They play the Lions this year too, don't they?
The Steelers?
Yeah.
They might. They probably do.
They do. That's the division. That's one of the divisions we're
we
matched
played
up
AFC
against.
North this year?
Yeah.
So that's right, because we got Bengals.
So we'll get
Bengals,
Ron
Browns,
throwing Hail
Ravens, yeah.
Marys.
He's not throwing Hail Marys. Why would you bring that up?
It was one of the worst moments in the history of the NFL.
This is one of the worst moments in the history of my life.
I remember where I was too when that happened. I was in Grand Rapids,
Yeah.
Michigan. I was at a bar. I forget what the name of the bar was, but they had great chili. The chili was unbelievable. I remember I was eating chili.
You know what? That's a topic too, because we were also at the bar having a little banter, and you mentioned something about you love a good French onion soup.
I do love a good French onion soup. Actually, you know the best French onion soup I ever had was at the Holiday Inn in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Also,
But that's what I was going to ask you though.
but then they changed the menu and it sucked.
when is it acceptable to order things like chili, or is it acceptable? Is it acceptable to order French onion soup and chili at a bar? Like when
Yes,
you're-
absolutely. The only time that it's not acceptable to order soup is if you see it on the Bob Does Sports stuff when Joey Coldcuts they were at Dallas, Texas, and he ordered the chicken tortilla soup. And they're riding in the cart and he's trying to eat the soup.
Yeah, see, but that's
And
different.
Bob was like, "Did you just order soup? It's 85 degrees outside." Yeah. He's like, they got great tortilla soup in Texas, which is a good point.
I mean, tortilla
However,
soup is a good soup too.
and I will say too, it was impressive that he didn't even spill any of it as he was eating it in the cart.
that is
too,
impressive,
which
too.
is
That's
good.
a highlight reel moment right there. I mean,
But to answer your question though, it's always acceptable if there's French onion soup on the menu. It's always acceptable to order it.
I don't think that you go to your sports or your dive bar and you sit down with a beer and you watch a game. I don't think it's acceptable to order anything other than a burger or wings or nachos.
Well, hold on. You've got to make an assessment of the establishment. Like if you think that this establishment is clean, then you can go ahead and do it.
To be honest with you, I could go to the cleanest bar on planet Earth. I'm not ordering French onion soup at the bar.
I think that you're missing out on the French onion soup.
French onion soup's a great soup, but I think when you're ordering it at a bar,
Is it the best soup?
I don't think it's the best soup. I think the best soup is broccoli cheddar.
Ooh, you went with the broccoli cheddar.
Is chili a soup?
Chili's not a soup. Chili's a chili.
Well, it can't be a chili. It's got to be something.
Well, it's a chili. You have a chili cook. You don't have a soup cook-off.
You could find a soup cook-off.
If you're going to have a soup cook-off, would you be able to submit your chili that you won the chili cook-off into the soup cook-off?
That's a question. Can you?
With a clear answer, no, you can't.
I don't know. Is chili soup?
Chili
Well,
is
if
not
it's not
soup.
soup, what is it then?
We have derailed. But listen, it's
Derailed a
it's
little bit.
it's a
That's
chili.
all about banter. You derail when you
It's
banter.
chili. It's chili. Well, okay, all right. We're gonna rein it back in. I have got I've got a blind rank for you coming up.
Ooh, blind rank.
Okay.
If you guys follow us on TikTok, which, as we mentioned, I mean, they should be. They should already be following us on TikTok. I don't know why.
Yeah.
they wouldn't be following
Don't say if.
But
Like, go check
since
us
you
out
guys
on
are
the
already
TikToks.
following us on TikTok, we've done a couple blind ranks on there already. So make sure you guys check those out as well. And we're going to hit you with another one here on the pod.
All right. So we were talking about beers, right? We were talking about, the Busch Lights, the apples, the limes, and all that other kind of stuff. And we were talking about different kinds of beers. I want you to rank these beers in order without knowing what's coming next.
Okay, I can do that.
So the first one is a ballpark beer.
A ballpark beer. So just one that's
Just a beer that you get at the ballpark.
So we're not
drinking
going-
a beer at the
Well,
ballpark.
well, hold on. So we're not going beer brands?
No, this is a ballpark beer.
The area of the beer that you're getting it.
This isn't hard to follow.
No, I understand
this
what you're
is like
saying.
this is a ballpark beer.
Well, because a ballpark Bud Light is still bad.
But is a ballpark Bud Light better than an office Bud Light?
Who drinks in the office?
I do. I mean, I don't.
Oh man! All right, ballpark beer. I'll go ahead and throw that in. I mean, because it accompanies great with dogs and popcorn. And
Yeah.
baseball
you're at
games.
the ballpark.
Yeah,
You're
I'm gonna
outside.
go. I'll go 2.
Well, see, for someone who didn't agree with this, he went
No, I
aggressive.
understood what you were saying,
He
but
went aggressive on the number
because
2.
because by you're saying ballpark beer, but that also still gives me the option to choose which beer.
Yeah. Okay. So how about this one then? How about the tailgate beer?
Oof.
Where does that go?
So the reason I'm going to put tailgate beer at 3 is because if you don't take it easy, you might not make it to the event you're tailgating for.
This is well, but I mean, look at that's not the point of the list, though.
No,
The point
it
of the
is the point
list
of the
is
list,
what
because
kind of a
now
beer do you enjoy the most?
No, that
do you
is-
enjoy a tailgate beer more than you enjoy a ballpark?
I don't,
beer?
because if I enjoy the tailgate beer too much, I won't be able to enjoy the ballpark
All right, so
beer.
you're putting that at 3.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you're gonna be okay. So we've got the ballpark beer at 2. We've got the tailgate beer at 3. What about a free beer?
Obviously, free beer's got to be number one.
You're gonna throw the free beer at number 1.
Dude, any day that you don't have to pay, I always say, this is literally the saying. I always say my favorite beer is a free beer. Free beer is the best. I don't care if you're handing me Natty Light, Keystone Light, Bud Light. I don't even care if you hand me a Stella Artois.
Ooh,
If it's free,
we went with the Stella.
if
You got
the beer is free,
fancy.
I'm going to drink that beer like there's no tomorrow.
Can you believe what just happened? This blind rank has got derailed just a bit.
wow.
Can you believe what just happened? Indiana came back and won game 1.
Wow.
Anyway, okay, so here we go. We're gonna look at. So we've got the free beer at 1. We've got the ballpark beer at 2. We've got the tailgate beer at 3. So you got 4 and 5 open.
Yeah.
And 4 and 5. Okay, so the next one I'm going to give you is your first beer. You've been anticipating all day long, and you get home from work and you crack open that first beer, or you get to the bar, your destination, and you have your first beer. Is that so you're putting that first beer, that anticipatory beer, you're putting that at either 4 or 5?
Yeah, because the first beer of your day or of the week or whatever is just the precursor to where the excitement actually happens, right? That first beer is just your warm up. That's just your first nice and good, refreshing. If you
It sets the tone, though. I think. I think it sets the tone for your night.
Tone for more exciting things like a ballpark beer.
Yeah, but if that first beer doesn't sit right, then that could throw you off for the rest of the night.
Exactly, which is why I'm not going to put it up top, because if that does happen, then why would your first beer that throws you off for the night?
That's the importance of it, though.
Exactly. So we'll go ahead and man, I don't know what you're going to throw at me here.
You got
I don't know what type of tricks you got up your sleeve.
it's got to go at either 4 or 5.
No, I know
already.
that, but I'm just saying I don't know what tricks you got up your sleeve. I might, if I throw this at 5, what you throw at me for the last one that would have to go 4, it could be atrocious.
Well, you got to pick one.
Yeah, you know what? First beer, I'll throw it at 4.
Okay, so your last spot, the one that's going at number 5, is the one more beer. When you're at the bar and you're getting ready to close out, and you're kind of like, or you're saying, "Oh, we're gonna go somewhere else," and you're like, "You know what? We'll have one more here."
Yeah, you know what?
One more beer before you leave, and it's kind of like the regroup beer. The one more, like when it's the 7th inning is coming up and they're getting ready to close the concessions, and you're like, "I'm gonna go get one more," and then, or like you're gonna leave the one bar to go to another bar, and you're like, "We'll have one more here," or you're just sitting there and it's towards the end of the night, and you're like, "Hey, I don't really want to go home yet, but." So I'm just gonna have one more beer.
Yeah, no, I get you. I'm fine with that being at 5, and the reason being is because there's 2 reasons. Number one, that one more beer could be the reason that you have the worst hangover in the morning, or could be the reason that it comes up the other way. That one more beer could also be a tease to you, like, oh, that one more beer kind of got me a little. I want to keep going.
The one more beer could always lead to another one more beer.
Yeah, true, which could then also lead to
Another one more beer.
another one more beer. But no, I'm okay with it at 5, only because there are times where that one more beer did not need to happen and you regret it the next day.
So you're okay with your list of the free beer being number 1, the ballpark beer being number 2, the tailgate beer being number 3, the first beer being number 4, and then the one more beer being number 5. You're okay with that list?
Yeah, I'm really good. Actually, I think that's a fantastic list.
What do you guys think?
I like my list.
Now that you know, without the blind rank, where do those beers go? And also, what else would you put in there? You know what I also was thinking about, because I think the honorable mention beer of that group is the garage beer.
Well, the garage beer is a great beer.
The garage beer is a
Yeah.
fantastic beer, right? What
Yeah.
other beers? The deck beer.
Deck beer.
There's so many good beers out there.
Yeah, honestly, if yeah, great honorable mention there. Honestly, I'd throw the garage beer. If I could do it differently, I'd throw the garage beer over the first beer. Like, I would rather enjoy a garage beer than your first.
But what if it's your first garage beer? Then what do you
I
do?
mean, you can't. Okay, we're getting too complicated here.
I'm just saying.
Okay, by that logic, the ballpark beer could be your first beer. The tailgate beer could be your first beer. Your free beer could be your first
Well,
beer.
listen, if you're doing it right, you're going to tailgate before you go into the ballpark, so the ballpark's never going to be your first beer.
Not if you're running late. You know why? You know why
Well,
that
we
would
don't-
happen? No, you know why that would happen? Because you had one more the
Yes.
night before, and you slept through the tailgate.
Or you had one more at the bar before you went there and you missed the tailgate. Okay. We're going to shift gears again. And I want to talk about, that the Women's College World Series is going on
Correct.
right now.
Yes.
And yeah, I do. I mean, I love all the college sports. I get into it. You kind of laugh at me a little bit. Like, I'm so into the women's college softball. I'm into the women's volleyball. I'm into all of the collegiate sports, the golf, the everything. Like, I dig it. I love the college athletics, especially the next tier sports. Like, that's everybody's college football, right? And college
course.
football is turning into professional.
Yeah,
You
well,
don't think
we've talked about
anyway.
it a million times.
But I love these because this is what college athletics is all about. In game one of the final series of the College World Series, because you know how it goes. There's the double elimination that happens, and then you get into a winner's bracket or a loser's bracket, and then whoever comes out of those plays in a 3-game series at the end to determine who the winner of the College World Series is. So we've got Texas versus Texas Tech. And so it's the bottom of the 6th, and Texas Tech is up 1-0. And Texas has runners on second and third. There's 2 outs.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've seen this.
and Texas, so there Atwood comes up. She's their best hitter, best home run hitter, and everything else. She's 0 for the College World Series. She hadn't had a hit yet in the College
she was
World
struggling.
Series, but she was their best hitter all season long. So what happens? Texas Tech says, you know what? Hey, we're gonna walk her. In college softball, you still have to throw the 4 pitches.
Yes.
So the first one was kind of like, I mean, it was a ball, but it was a ball because it was high, not because it was off the plate. The second one was more of like an intentional walk pitch. The third one was a little bit close also as well. Pitcher goes to throw ball 4, and Atwood ropes a single, scores 2 runs, and they win game 1 of that series 2-1 because of a bad pitch thrown on an intentional walk in the bottom of the 6th inning, which leads me to my question. Should Major League Baseball go back to throwing those 4 pitches? Remember when Miggy
I was
used
just about
to
to
try
say,
to go out there and get it?
And Mickey hit one.
He
actually.
did.
He hit one.
He went the opposite way and hit one into right field there. Do we do that again?
I think it would be fun, but if you're all, like okay, so the problem with doing that in the MLB is we're already talking about, we have the pitch clock to speed the game up. We're talking about being able to challenge balls and strikes now. We're adding the runner on second in the extra innings there to speed up the game. Making them throw those 4 pitches again on intentional walks is not going to speed up the game. However, for entertainment purposes, I think it would be good because there are a couple hitters out there in today's game that I think would take a couple hacks at it. I know last year's Javi Baez would have swung at all 4 of them.
I'm swinging at everyone.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't think I took a pitch ever in my career.
No.
I was the complete opposite. I think I took every pitch ever in my career.
Yeah, you did. You did. You were like to strike out, either strike out looking or walking.
Yeah.
No,
I think it would be interesting. I don't know, man. It's tough to say because I think you only bring it back if players are going to take hacks at it. If every player in the game's under under the impression like, you know what? No, they just stand there like this, and they don't even try, or they have an agreement with the pitcher, like, no.
But here's the other part of it too that I do like about doing, like, going through those motions of throwing those 4 pitches. I mean, if there's runners on base, they can steal.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, so if you have a runner on second and first base is open, and you are going to walk the batter to set up a double play or, whatever, because you don't want them to get a base hit in the run scores or whatever and all that other kind of stuff. If that runner from second steals on one of those pitches because the pitcher's really just kind of floating the ball up there, and then the batter or the runner on second says, you know what, this pitcher's just kind of lobbing this thing in there, and even though it's a pitch out, I can still get to third on this. And, then it creates a situation to where if there was one out at the time, now a fly ball ties the game and you were trying to do it. You know what I'm saying? So there's not just a matter of, is the batter going to be able to hit the ball? I mean, what happens if the pitcher, because it's not a natural thing for the pitcher to do, right?
No.
Like Lester trying to, like, he couldn't throw the ball to first base. So he never did. What happens if there's a pitcher who gets the yips?
Yeah.
And throws the thing over the
throws it
catcher's
over-
head.
yeah,
Now
then-
all of a sudden you got guys circling the base. I think it just, you eliminate a factor. Like, and we saw it in the College World Series that they won the game because the pitcher got lazy throwing those 4 pitches.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And it does add some more excitement in that aspect of it. And that's the thing, too, because they did take it away. Like, a lot of pitchers now would have to get used to throwing those pitches again when they do intentionally walk.
Right.
So the first year or two that it comes back, a lot of that excitement could happen. But I think that after a couple of years, I think it would rein itself in a little bit.
Yeah.
And it would kind of dry out.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you miss an opportunity there. I mean, and really, how long does it take?
True.
You know what I
they could
mean?
probably
You're
get it-
not like, it's not like you're, trying to get a sign
here's
from
what
the
you do.
catcher or from the pitch com or.
Here's what you do. You bring it back for spring training, just like they did with all these other stuff that they're trying. See how it plays out.
And how many intentional walks are you giving a game
Right.
to where it's really gonna, like, I mean,
Right.
I think I loved it. I loved seeing what happened there, and the fact that it was a 2-run single and won the game was unbelievable. So there's that. I do have a trivia question for you.
Trivia question. Okay.
Okay. And, so we were talking about the intentional walk. We were talking about all those things. We were talking about Miggy and their baseball. So we're going to go to the MLB on this. And we're going to talk about MLB logos.
Ooh. Easy.
What is the only logo in of all the Major League Baseball teams? What is the one team that has never changed their logo?
Their primary logo.
There's one team that has never changed their logo. And I'm not talking about what they wear on their hats. I mean, I'm talking about their logo.
Did the Dodgers count because Brooklyn?
Well, they obviously changed.
Okay, so it's
They changed their logo.
okay. So you're saying a franchise, not a current active.
No, current active.
I understand that, but a relocation counts as a logo
The
change.
Dodgers have changed their logo since they've been in LA.
No.
They changed the colors up a little bit.
Okay, so it hasn't even touched it once.
They haven't touched it at all.
The Pirates.
No, the Pirates have changed their logo.
Ooh, this is hard.
It is hard.
The Red Sox.
The Red Sox have changed their logo a little bit, little slight adjustments. Little trim, little color
Boy.
trims and stuff like that.
The Mets.
You nailed it, dude.
The Mets?
It is the Mets. The Mets, their logo with the baseball and the cityscape and the bridge and the script Mets hasn't changed since 1960 65 or whatever it was that
Okay, see, so
they came into
that's
play.
what threw me off too, because when I'm thinking Mets, I'm thinking of the N,
The NY on their hat,
Yeah.
that's not their primary logo.
so that's where I was thinking too, because like obviously like the Pirates, they have the pirate with the bats behind them, and then they also
Yeah.
have the P. So
But
that's
even
why
that pirate with the bats
bats has
behind them has
changed. Okay,
changed.
yeah, that's why I was thinking, because like even like the Red Sox, you either do the two socks or the B.
Well, but they've changed their
Okay, yeah.
their little socks.
Hmm.
And then even the Yankees have changed their Yankee
Yeah,
script thing and stuff like that.
that's interesting.
Tigers, yeah. So the Mets, that was good. So there you go. So this is what we get. This is banter. This is what the bar banter is all about. We're kind of all over the board. We're having a little good conversations about everything like that or whatever. And banter at a bar is a good thing
Yeah.
most of the time.
Oof.
Who in your opinion is the worst person to sit next to at the bar when you're getting comfy for your team to play, for a game, for whatever? Who's it? Let me give you a little bit of an example so you can think about this,
Yeah.
right? I'm in San Diego,
Oh yeah.
and it was the first under the lights game, Notre Dame, Michigan. And I'm in San Diego, and we first go to this bar, and I'm in all my Notre Dame gear and everything else, and so we go to this bar and to watch the game, and because we asked the hotel, where's the best place to go to watch a football game, and they're like, oh, you got to go to this bar, and it was great. There was TVs that covered the wall all over the place. I don't think there was a piece of the wall that was showing that didn't have a TV on it. There was probably 1,000 TVs in this place. It was fantastic. Walk in, everybody in the entire place is head to toe in USC gear because we're in Southern California.
Right.
And they are, I think there was a guy dressed as a Trojan in there.
Full on cosplay.
All 1,000 TVs had the USC game on. And I go, of course, I go to the bartender and I said, hey, can I get one of these TVs put on the Notre Dame game that's getting ready to start here? And he says, okay, yeah, sure, I'll go ahead and do that. There was one TV that was, it was probably 60 feet by 80 feet or something like that. It covered the whole, 2 floors, ceiling, wall, the whole deal.
Biggest, like a movie
The
theater
biggest
theme.
TV. It was literally the
movie
screen
theater theme?
Yes.
A movie theater.
So
screen.
he changed that one in USC territory.
He knew what he was doing.
To the Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, what you have about, this was a big bar, and there was probably, I would say, at least 500 sets of eyes on me at that moment. And so I'm like sitting there trying to watch the game, and the game started and stuff like that. And I made it through the first half, and then it was getting kind of dicey in there. And I was like, let's just go. So we went back to the hotel. Didn't know where else to go.
Yeah.
Like, it was halftime. I was like, we don't have we don't have much time or whatever. Go back to the hotel. I knew there was a little TV there at the bar there. There was nobody there. So I'm like, okay, cool. Guy I was working, my buddy at work that was with me, whatever, sitting next to me. We're sitting there. I'm right in front of the TV that's at the bar. I'm like, this is actually better, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're secluded. You're by yourself. You're comfy. You can just walk right up to your room. Like, you can watch it in your peace. And I'm like, this is good. So I'm sitting in third quarter going, and now it's that, if anybody remembers that game, Yeah.
It was back and forth game. It was back and forth game, and it was a good game. It was intense and everything else. And then all of a sudden, so this guy comes and sits down. Again, it's a horseshoe bar, and there was nobody else there. And this guy comes and I'm on the end of the bar and then like the corner and then it goes down. And I'm sitting like facing this way because the TV was at the thing. And so he comes and he sits here facing this way, like right of all the seats that were open at the bar. And he sits down, he's like, cheerio. This guy, I mean, he's straight for. I think he's asking for the football game, like the different kinds of the football, and so he's like, a cheerio there, good lad, and I'm like, oh my god, and so then he goes, this is American football, and I said, yes, it is. He goes, is this are these professionals? And I'm like, this is college, this is college. The universities. And I said, yes. He goes, are they prestigious universities? And this is ugly. And this is in the last few minutes of the game. Now, if you remember that game, so Michigan goes down to score with like a minute and something left and takes the lead. Notre Dame comes back down the field in like 40 seconds, takes the lead again. Now they just have to run out the clock for another 12, 18 seconds or whatever it was. But Michigan comes back down and scores again and wins the game. So all of this is happening as he's talking about prestigious universities, and he's which team are you rooting for? And I said, the team in the white. And that was right when he asked it, that was when Notre Dame gave up the big play that put Michigan in position to score on the next play to win the game.
With like 6 seconds left.
And this British guy says to me, he goes, they don't seem very adept. And so I it was almost an international incident. Like So my question to you is, when you're sitting at a bar to watch a game, who is the worst person that you can sit next to? Who's the worst type of person that you can sit next to? Is it somebody who's rooting for the opposing team? Is it somebody who has no idea about sports? Is it somebody who's talking on their phone? Who is it? Who is the worst person?
I think the worst person, obviously, of course, the person sitting next to you rooting for the opposing team, obviously that sucks, right?
It can be fun though.
It can be if it's not a serious game,
like,
right?
What
Like
about,
if I'm
okay, like what about like the Braves and the Phillies in the playoffs?
Yeah, that. Okay, so yeah, I was in Orlando, and I was watching the Phillies game. I had my Bryce Harper gear on, and these dudes next to me were wearing Braves hats, and they're sitting there like, oh, we're going back and forth, but we weren't. It never got hostile. We were kind of just like, oh, good game, whatever. So yes, it can be. I think an incident that I would probably, it's tough, man. I would say, because these are the two most like recent incidents I had, I would say somebody who, out of the two teams that are playing, they happen to be a fan of your team's rival who you aren't playing. So, for example, I was at a Buffalo Wild Wings watching the Ohio State-Oregon 3 years ago when Oregon won in the shoe, first game of the year against C.J. Stroud, and I had Michigan fans sitting next to me, like to be the biggest Oregon fan in the world, just because an Ohio State fan sat next to him. When I walked into the bar, he didn't even know the game was on. Didn't even know the game was on. And the second he saw an Ohio State jersey sit next to him and looked up and saw Oregon, Ohio State, he would like to be the biggest Oregon fan in the world. Another incident, when I was in Orlando, that was actually in Michigan, but when I was in Orlando, I went to a bar to watch the Lions-Packers game, and I had Bears fan at the bar who just thought it was hilarious to cheer for the Packers just because I was there and I was in Lions gear. So I think it's
so the person who's rooting against you that really has no vested interest in the game.
Exactly. They're rooting against you just to piss you off.
Right.
Right. Because
it's
one thing if you have a dog in the fight.
Right.
You have a right to, banter a little bit. If you don't have a dog in the fight and you're doing it just to antagonize and to just be a dick.
Yeah.
That's the worst. That's why I've gotten to the point where when it comes to big games, like throughout our whole entire playoff run for the national championship season, I watched every single game by myself in my living room. I didn't go to any, and everybody's texting me, "Come watch the game with us at the bar." Nope. And I'm in Orlando, Florida, by the way.
Yeah.
There's no there weren't going to be any Tennessee fans. Likely, there weren't going to be any Oregon fans. There weren't going to be Texas fans. There would have been a couple, actually Tennessee and Texas. But still, point of the story is every game of that whole entire playoff run, none of the teams, including mine, were in the state I was in. I still couldn't even risk it. I was like, you know what? No, because I know my luck. I'm going to go watch one of these playoff games, and my luck, an Orlando, Florida, Michigan fan, is going to be at the bar, and I'm never going to be able to enjoy the game. So when it comes to big games like that for like football and Ohio State and Lions, and even for the Tigers playoff run against Cleveland last season, every game at home in the living room by myself or with somebody who's cheering for the same team as me.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough. You're right. Like if they are a fan, like the Phillies Braves example or stuff like that, like you can usually iron those things out and just and say send them over a basket of chicken wings or whatever and say. Hey, you got a good team. This is going to be a good series, and then you have a good time with it and everything else. Yeah. But when there's the person who doesn't have the dog in the fight and they just want to rile you up, then that one's probably pretty bad.
That's ruthless.
As far as like sports specific people next to the bar go, yeah, I would say that. What about the phone guy?
Phone people are really speakerphone. Like FaceTime calls? FaceTime calls at the bar are pretty obnoxious. Even just regular phone calls. Our guy hates Kim.
Oh, yeah.
Kim.
Maybe it was we were watching what, it was a Tiger game? Or what game were we watching?
No, this was because I was still living in Orlando at the time.
Yeah,
so I was
you
just
were
up
just
here
up here visiting.
It was Michigan State, Western Michigan, I think.
Okay. It's always like just a silly game.
But it was two, hometown teams. So.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, let's go watch this at the bar because, it'll be fun. And, there was a guy sitting at the bar that was drinking Long Island iced teas.
Sucking them down, too.
He probably had 4 while the game was going on and was on an hour-and-a-half long phone call complaining about this bitch Kim at work.
Hated her.
Hated Kim. Kim did everything wrong at that job.
Listen, I almost started to hate Kim by the end.
Oh, she was awful.
I couldn't hear the other end of the phone call either.
No.
I just heard this guy, and it got pretty ruthless.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those are annoying too. Also, same bar. Another one we didn't bring up. People who are rooting for the same team as you,
but have just awful, awful takes.
but also hate the same team as you at the same time.
Yeah.
Like they're like, let go Tigers, but I hate the Tigers.
They're negative.
Yeah, they're negative fans. We had a guy at the same bar as the guy who hated Kim. Same exact bar. Javi Baez hits his first 3-run shot of the game. It was the game he hit the 2 3-run shots. One in the middle of the game, one was the walk-off. Mm-hmm. And after he hits a 3-run shot, this kid's like, I hate Baez. I hate him. He's wearing a Tigers hat, Piston shirt. He's like, I hate Baez. We're like, he just hit a 3-run shot. What are you bitching about? He literally just hit a 3-run home run, took the lead. Yeah, well, now he wants to play good all of a sudden.
Like, he was mad that he was having a good year.
Yeah.
Like, mad about it.
And those are the type of fans that drive me nuts, too. Are the ones that are cheering for the same, or fans of the same team as you, but hate everything about that same team.
Yeah, like happy, like he was like, oh, I love that the Tigers won, but I hate that Baez hit the home run. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah, those people suck too.
Yeah, that's a bad play. You don't want to run into those because it then ruins the whole thing.
Exactly.
Like, he was like, I almost started getting into it with him, and then I was like, listen, you got your opinion, you drink your beer, and you keep your mouth shut away from us.
Not to mention that for the whole first 3 or 4 innings of the game, he wasn't even watching it. He was in the corner playing Golden Tee.
He was fired up about. That's another way. That's a good. What's the best bar game?
Ooh.
Do you got darts? You got pool? Do you got Golden Tee?
You know what?
You got pull tabs?
You
got Keno?
It's got to be between darts and pool.
Really? You don't even throw Golden Tee? Like, Golden Tee doesn't even get a sniff?
No, I mean, Golden Tee's in there for sure.
What about the crane game?
Crane
you can
game.
pull out like a little stuffed animal.
Crane game's good. You can pull out a stuffed animal, the girl that you've been eyeing across the bar the whole time. Now you've got your in.
Yep. You go over there, you just drop it off at the table and say, "There you go," and then you walk away.
And then you get back to your seat and
Yeah.
you send her a shot.
Oh,
Or you
so you
order,
double down.
Or you
double down.
order a shot, carry the shots and the stuffed animal.
That's a little presumptuous, though. I like to drop it off first. You set the
You
precedent,
set the
and then
tone
you
because
come
you can
back,
see how she responds.
and then everything else.
can see how she responds to
She
the
starts
stuffed
to
animal.
cuddle it, then you throw a shot
yeah,
over
she's
there
like,
and
"Oh
follow
my
up.
God, thank you so much." Or if she's just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
thanks."
Yeah.
Claw game's good. No, I think pool and darts are just your go-to classics, right? Golden Tee's great. Pull tab's great. Keno, great. These are all great. But I would say pool or darts, and I think I would lean pool.
You lean pool.
I lean pool.
What if we had done a blind rank on that?
That's a good
that
one.
would have been a good
one.
blind
We can't
rank
do it
to
now
do. We
because
can't do
we
it
both
now.
just
All
talked
right, we're
about
gonna
it.
do a blind rank of best bar games, or one of the other best bar games is trying to figure out timing the loop of the Roku home screen
Ooh,
when you got
good
a
one.
bar that doesn't pay
that's
attention to
another
what's
good
going
question
on.
too. We're gonna carry it away.
It's
We
just
got a
bar
lot
banter.
of-
It's bar banter.
We've got a lot because there's another thing.
It's-
There's another question I want to bring up, but it could fit into a blind rank and then could be talked about. I don't want to ruin it. I don't wanna
Okay,
do
so
it too
you're
early.
what you're doing is you're doing a foreshadow.
I'm doing a
You're
foreshadow.
foreshadowing.
I'm doing a
To
foreshadow.
say, hey, listen, if you want to know what that is,
Yeah.
then what you're going to have to do is tune back in.
Yeah, next week.
In the next week because so let us know what you guys think of the bar banter logo,
Mhm.
the bar banter format, all that kind of stuff. Let us know, like, subscribe, follow, do all that kind of stuff.
Yep. All links are in the description below for Instagram, TikTok, and then obviously you're here on YouTube if you came across this video, so give us that subscribe. And like he said, what do you think of the rebrand? And don't hesitate to leave us ideas and feedback. We like constructive criticism, so just let us know all the thoughts. And he mentioned the loop of the Roku screen that foreshadows a blind rank for next episode. So make sure you guys are tuned in.
Nice.